Interface Video, in cooperation with Fairfield Federal, presents Fairfield Today. Brought to you by Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan, Fairfield Medical Center, Fair Hope Hospice and Palliative Care, the Frankie Smith Funeral Home, Fairfield County Adam H., Dagger Law, and the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities.
Hello friends, and welcome to Fairfield Today. I'm Paul Jackson, your host. Thank you for joining us, and another, as we begin taping today, nice day. I won't say beautiful because it's a little overcast, but it's a nice day here in Lancaster, downtown. We're at Fairfield Federal, of course, in the main lobby here on, as you go up or come down Main Hill. Everybody knows where it is, Fairfield Federal. And I think we have a good show for you. The second half of the show today, we're going to have our favorite librarian on, Becky Schaade. And she's going to talk about all the programming things that the library does. And when I think of two organizations that have lots of stuff going on, one is the library and the other is the Lancaster Parks and Recreation. So a very cool segue to that, to Mike Tharp, who's the head man of the Lancaster Parks and Recreation. You guys always busy. I mean 8 days a week.
8 days a week. Yeah, and it seems like this year we're busier than we were last year, and I don't know why, but it just seems that way.
Everybody survived COVID in your organization? Everybody get through this and
yes.
Everything good? I'm sure it was tough, like it was for everyone else.
Yeah, we minimized the casualties as far as people being out and multiple people being out for an extended period of time. But yeah, our crew came through it with flying colors. Thank God, and here we go.
Well, we're into 2022. We just not that long ago got through Santa in the Park and everything down there. A big successful Christmas time for you down at Alley.
Yeah, Santa in the Park was, we changed it up a little bit. We didn't bring anybody into the lodge. We used the lodge as kind of a snow globe effect. And everybody really enjoyed it. They got through it in a relatively short period of time in some cold and rainy weather. And people really seemed to enjoy the change in Santa in the Park and how we kind of modified it a bit. So yeah.
Will your organization, I ask this of almost everybody, do you think you'll see things going forward that you'll keep from things you were forced to change in the last couple of years because of COVID? You had to do certain things differently. Can you see some of those things moving forward as, that actually was a better way?
Yes, definitely. Yep. It forced us outside the box. And I'll tell you the one that we've just dearly loved and we keep talking about is our preschooler program. Preschoolers, they're all spread out on the floor. When it came to COVID, we had to keep those preschoolers contained. So we come up with preschoolers in a box. So they each have their own little box and they decorate it and they make it look like a car or a plane or whatever the case, but they take ownership in their space. And you're able to keep them in their space during the COVID times. And we're going to hang on to that because those kids really enjoyed building and making their space their own. So, a lot of things changed for the parks. We'll keep some of it. We'll go back to our crazy ways in the others and keep moving forward.
Don't doubt the parks will be back in that. They'll be there.
Yes.
And then New Year's, a big ball.
Oh my gosh.
It's become what an event.
That one just does my heart good. That makes me smile because the community, there's nobody downtown. There's nobody downtown. And here it comes 10 o'clock and they start mingling. By 11 o'clock, the downtown is packed. And by midnight, there's 1,000, 1,500 people standing there watching that thing go up in the air.
That's truly an event now. I mean, it's an event.
It is.
Good weather, bad weather. It's not going to make any difference.
Nope.
Yeah.
And it's a community piece of art. It's us. It's glass. It's Lancaster.
It's just perfect.
It's perfect.
It is.
Hats off to everybody that gets involved in that event.
Good for all those folks. There's so many things to just discuss as we move in, closing in pretty soon. We hope we'll get through this. We'll get to spring and we'll move in from there. But sports registration, you'll have a lot of things going on in the spring and the summer. You got to get going now on that?
So we've got the end of February is the end of registration for spring soccer, spring flag football. And then, of course, we've already opened up football registrations for fall and cheerleading registrations. And, of course, fall flag football is already open. Then we'll open fall soccer registrations later in the year. But right now we've got record numbers of kids that have signed up. And I say that every year, but it keeps growing. You would think soccer would kind of hit this plateau. But no, it's growing again, bigger than last year. And last year was big. We had more than 800 kids last year.
On kind of an odd year.
Yeah, really. But it's people are still, I don't know that they're still connected to the outside, to the parks, to activities, but people want to get out and want to get involved and engaged still, and that's a great sign.
That's amazing stuff. And I had Shane take a shot of this. We've got a new program and activities book out. That's pretty hot off the presses, huh?
Bigger than we've ever put out. So this year, typically our program guide is about 28 pages, maybe 30. This one is 48 pages.
I'm going to say it's a small book.
It is a small book. We took on sponsorships in 2022 from a lot of our community partners, and but we actually put more content in than we ever have before. There's a lot more going on in the parks, a lot that we've always missed. So we, the Glasstown Countdown has never been in there. There's just a lot of events we kind of skirted around and just thought it was public interest, and we didn't put it in the book. Everything's in there this year.
It's quite the book to go through and just sit and take some time and just look through it, because there's stuff in there that everybody, any age, grandkids, great-grandkids, anybody can get involved.
All the information about swimming pools and pool parties and rental of the lodge and rental of Olivedale, all of the pertinent questions that we get asked on a daily basis, we've contained in the book. So, if you want to call us and ask us, we'd be more than happy to talk to you. But
you won't say, well, look on page 20.
Nope.
Okay, you'll actually answer it.
I love talking to people.
Okay, very good. And I'm always talking about how many things can the parks be involved in, which it seems limitless. But a bridal show?
Yeah.
I mean, does it ever end?
It really doesn't. We did this back in 19, and it really was a way to promote Alley Park as a wedding venue. But also, it was a way to bring the community together and showcase everybody in our community that is a partner. So, of the hundreds of weddings that take place in Alley Park every year, hundreds. Wow. Yeah, they are scheduled during the week. They're scheduled on the weekends. It's crazy that people wanted to get into that. It's very affordable at Alley Park, but all of the rental places and all of the limousine places, we end up seeing them bringing in brides and grooms and caterers. So we thought, well, let's bring all them together into Alley Park and showcase all of the partnerships that go on, and let everybody just enjoy.
A lot of moving parts there.
There are.
And you kind of bring them all together and say, look at all this.
Yep.
Yeah.
In a beautiful setting.
Sure.
And let them, Johnny Garber will be there, and his...
doesn't get any better than when John's there.
It doesn't.
I agree.
It's a lot of fun.
That's it. Okay. Well, it's just... And again, when I saw the bridal show, I thought, man, it just doesn't ever end. But then the one that kind of knocked me a little bit was women and power tools.
Yes. We started that in 2019 also, and it was a way for, we have a staff member, Kathy Stasel, that loves to teach other people how to use power tools that might be a little timid or intimidated by power tools.
Yeah.
So in 2019, we thought, well, let's see if we can get a group of women together and let Kathy teach women. That way they feel, engaged.
Sure.
And it worked really well. We actually had to schedule 2 classes. So this year ended up being the same thing. Women in Power Tools on February 27th, I think it is.
Okay.
And then we turn around and do it again on March 5th because the class filled up so quick.
Where does she hold this?
At Alley Park in the Nature Center.
Okay. Perfect setting down there for that.
Yeah, the first class is going to be very oriented, wood type project, and I don't know what the project is. I just know it's out of wood pallets.
Sure.
And the one on March 5th will be electrical, working with electricity and actually mason jars and putting the cord and the lights inside mason jars and making them beautiful and all that.
Yeah,
So it's a craft.
That's beautiful stuff.
But it's also a learning craft.
How neat is that? This was her idea to come up with this, or?
It was actually Trina Thornton.
Okay.
And Trina went to Kathy and said, would you be willing to teach this class? And now they couldn't wait to get this class back underway again. So that's exciting.
How great is that? That's good when they love it, and then that'll come out in their knowledge when they share it with people.
Exactly.
Yeah, that'll be great.
A lot of fun.
One of the things I've noticed this year, been reading about it in the paper and stuff, is skating again on Rising Park on the pond. And I don't know how many years, if there's a week or something every year, but I haven't seen it very often in the last almost decade.
In my 7 years, this is only the 3rd time.
Yeah. I mean, when I was a kid here, every year. every year it happened because winters were very cold back then, just like that snap we had late January when you were able to open it up and do that.
Right.
But recently that's not the case, so how cool was that to have it open again?
It's a lot of fun, and I couldn't believe we announced that like at noon on a Monday, and by 2 and 3 o'clock we had hockey players on the pond, we had ice skaters on the pond, we had even more people in tennis shoes just sliding across the pond.
Just to be in the moment.
Yep.
That's great.
So we really want to look for the 4 inches of ice near the bank. That allows people to get on and off safely. It was 7 inches in the middle.
Well, that was going to be my question. I drive through there and I look at that and I thought, I'm going to ask, I tell my wife, I'm going to ask Mike that, how deep is it? 7 inches at its deepest?
At the ice, it got up to 7 inches. It's as thick as we've seen it.
Now, how deep is the pond? Would you have any guess on that?
Rising Pond is probably not much deeper than 12 feet deep in its deepest part.
But you want the ice to be 7 inches?
We want it to be at least 4 on the sides.
At least 4.
And then anything greater than 4 to the center. So, yeah, we put big machines on there to actually blow the snow off of that. A big 8-wheel
make it a
Ventrac
true
machine.
rink.
Yep.
Yeah.
But we know it's safe when we can put our equipment on there.
And you see the turnout.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it's fun.
I mean, the community has been waiting for this. It doesn't come very often, and you hear stories. Well, I used to go there every day when I was a kid, and I always blah blah blah. But people were reliving that moment.
Dusting off ice skates and trying to find ice skates was a trick for a lot of people.
Yeah, that's right. You better go out and buy some and have them, or they don't fit. If you have your kid ones, they probably don't fit anymore.
Exactly right.
That's a great thing. I love that very much. Maple tapping again this year.
Yeah. We're going to modify it a little bit. We're only going to set up the lodge with about half the tables that we normally do, but we're going to put a large tent in the parking lot out back with tables and chairs and heaters. So you have the option of eating in the lodge or taking it outside into the big open air. We're going to have sides on the tent. I mean, it'll be a fully enclosed tent, and we'll have all the service that we do inside out there. So if you feel safer in the tent outside, by all means, take advantage of that. But if you feel safe on the inside also, we'll have the lodge set up also.
That's a great one. Only got a couple minutes left, and we got a couple things I wanted to hit on. You mentioned a little bit earlier, Allie and Olivedale Rentals, call your office?
Yes. Call
Number
the office.
is?
740-687-6651.
Very good. Can you do it online, or you need to call? Probably need to call for that.
You really need to call because so many dates are already booked.
Yeah, I'm sure. For both.
For both.
Oh, I bet. And then I didn't want to touch with Fairfield Federal being here. The bandstand back there and the fountain. It's always such a busy summer and everything out there, and it's just a great time.
So so we published the book, but we already have one change in the book. So bandstand we have published as starting, I think, June 3rd. We actually backed that up. Bad Influence had a conflict in the beginning of June, and we don't want to open bandstand up without them, so we actually backed up the start of bandstand to May 27th.
It's always every week. It's obviously very weather driven, but when the weather's nice, man, it is big time out there. It is packed, and everybody loves it.
Keep your ears open because we have another surprise coming down the road.
Ooh.
With possibly a Saturday bandstand performance.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That wets our whistle a little bit.
Yes, it does.
We won't go any more than that, but
Yep.
would that be somewhere in the course of the summer?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Well, it's an exciting time. We love Fairfield Federal. We thank them certainly for sponsoring that to make it all possible. And congratulations, Mike Tharp is the director of the parks. He's with us today. You got so many irons in the fire. I don't know if the fire's big enough. You have to build a bigger fire.
I love it. It's truly fun.
You do a great job. I'll tell you that. Don Boehner would be proud. I know that. I knew Don, and in my world, he was, all the years I was growing up, he was the parks guy. And
he still is.
He would be proud of the job that's being done right now. He'd like it very much.
Thank you.
Mike Tharp with the Lancaster Parks and Recreation. We'll be back in just a moment.
Life is unpredictable. That's why estate planning is important. Estate planning provides you comfort and peace of mind knowing that you're taking care of your loved ones and ensuring your legacy lives on just as you envisioned. You lived a life that is beautifully and uniquely yours. You deserve an estate planning attorney who understands that and creates a plan as unique as you and in the best interest of your loved ones. You deserve the local, trusted, experienced attorneys at Dagger Law.
Fairfield Federal. When it comes to our customers and our community, we go above and beyond to help. Our people make the difference.
We were retiring from Tucson, Arizona, and we made a retirement trip out around Ohio, having decided that's where we wanted to be. And we came across this town called Lancaster, and we fell in love with the downtown area where the fountain is and the memorials and the flags and all this stuff. And we looked around and I said, there's our bank right there.
There's something to be said about a community bank in your hometown.
Right. If you live in the community, you should do business in the community as much as possible. So it makes sense to bank with the community bank where you live.
Fairfield Federal is the bank to be at. If you live in this town, or any town actually, you want to bank at a local home bank. And the employees are happy here, they're conversant, customer service is through the roof. There's nothing more you could ask for.
Personal or business banking, whatever you need, we take it seriously because we know you do. Stop by today at any of our 3 locations and see why the difference is clear. Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan specializes in banking that revolves around you.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
The Frankie Smith Funeral Home and Crematory in Lancaster and the Johnson Smith Funeral Home in Baltimore have a long and wonderful history of serving our community. Feel free to give us a call at 740-653-0652. Stop in and see us at either of our 2 locations, 405 North Columbus Street in Lancaster and 207 South Main Street in Baltimore. Respect for tradition, regard for change.
Fairfield Medical goes the extra mile to give attention to their patients, to their guests, anybody that comes within those doors.
There's no question that the staff there are all personally invested in seeing that I got the best care possible.
The staff was so comforting. I felt like she was in the best hands.
They basically gave me a second chance at life, and I'm going to make the most of it.
Welcome back to Fairfield Today. Thank Mike Tharp for being on. And as we indicated, 2 of the organizations that do so many different things, more than just their name implies, are the Lancaster Parks, which you can tell by Mike Tharp what he said, all the things they do. And the other one we were talking about was the Fairfield County District Library. And oddly enough, we have the executive director of the library, Miss Becky Schaade, our favorite librarian.
Thank you, sir.
Good to have you with us. And we didn't mention that. Well, we talked about how many things you and how many things the park do, but you do a lot of things together.
We do.
Yeah.
We do. We're lucky to have a wonderful partnership.
And they're lucky to have a wonderful library to work with.
Absolutely.
But boy, the parks, it isn't anything. We go from, what were some of the things we were talking about bridal shows and, just everything when you think of parks. But there's just a natural transition. It seems like anybody in town doesn't want anything, they give it to the parks, they'll take it, they'll do it.
I'll teach you something that is coming with the parks. So we've done a number of story trails with them over the past year.
I was going to mention this Alley Trail you've got going on. A little birdie told me about that.
Yes, it is wonderful.
It's down at Alley Park.
Yes.
And it's a kind of a reading trail as you go around.
Yeah, so we've taken picture books and kind of dismantled them and put 1 page per sign, so you can walk along the trail, read a book with your child, read a book to yourself, with your loved ones. As you go along the trail, 1 page each time, and we've put some prompts there to encourage you to talk about the book with your child. What do you think about this? Have you ever experienced that? It's a wonderful thing. We've done a number of them, and I do believe that our current trail, No Yeti Yet, is still up at Alley Park.
And while we're talking about that, I saw that Yeti. Can you show us the Yeti here?
I
can. You show us that?
Can we hold on to the Yeti for 1 second?
Then we'll wait.
I have a breaking news about the story trail.
Oh, good, okay.
Last year, the parks and the library were able to write a grant together to the State Library of Ohio. We are going to, this spring, be able to break ground on a permanent story trail at Alley Park. So the ones that we've been creating have kind of been homemade ones that the staff at the library have created, which have been wonderful, don't get me wrong, but pretty labor intensive, and they last for, a few weeks or a month.
And that's not your main job.
Right. Well, no, we love it, and we love providing them for the community.
But now the parks can really dig in.
Yeah, so we will have these permanent metal and acrylic displays through the trail that'll be cemented into the ground, and we'll be able to trade those stories out 4 or 5 times a year. We'll be able to theme our stories to what's happening in the park's camping program, for example. They do great camping programs over the summer.
And all that information will be on your website when they change from 1 to 2 to 3.
Absolutely.
That's
so
great.
We were very lucky to get this grant. We were very excited to get it, and working with the parks. So that's going to be coming, which I'm very excited about.
Well, we've got so many things to chat about. We'll just start through as long as time allows us. And we'll get to the Eddie. We're not there yet. I want to talk about these community passes you have. I'm very excited about that. I mean, we have so many great exhibitions and great places to see in Lancaster, and the library is right on the forefront of allowing people to do that.
Yes, so we want to be able to open up so many new experiences for people in our community. Yeah. We want people to be lifelong learners. That's part of our mission and part of our strategic plan at the library. And one way to do that is to open up new experiences for people. And so we've created a community pass program at the library. You can borrow a community pass with your library card. It is free. And we have several organizations that partake in that program, and more that we are adding, because this is fairly new. Yeah. And you can borrow a pass with your library card. With that pass, you can visit an organization and have free admission to that place.
Now, the ones I have listed, and this may not be all or it may be all, the Glass Museum, Columbus Museum of Art, the AHA Children's Museum, Dawes Arboretum, and Fairfield Heritage, which includes like the Sherman House and the Georgian.
That's
and
right.
you've got an example just to know what these would look like.
Yeah, exactly. So each place works a little bit differently because each organization works a little differently. So each of these is going to have their own little rules that go along with them. But take for example the Glass Museum.
Right.
So if you check out the Glass Museum pass at the library, you're going to get a paper pass that looks like this.
Hold it up there so Shane can see it there.
Absolutely.
He can get a shot of that.
So that's
Very
what
good.
it looks like. Great. I'll hold it up there for you.
All right.
When you check that out, you're going to get this paper pass. It's going to be good for 2 weeks, so you can visit the Glass Museum anytime in that 2-week period. We're going to write the date on there for you, so you're going to be able to know that. And you're going to take this paper pass to the Glass Museum. You don't have to return it to the library. You're going to just turn it into the Glass Museum, and you're going to be able to have free admission for up to 4 people to the Glass Museum here in Lancaster. So very easy.
So all you have to do is go in, show your library card, bingo.
Yeah. You don't even have to show your library card to them, just the pass.
I mean, to the library to get them.
Yes, exactly.
And again, the ones are the Glass Museum, Museum of Art, AHA, Dawes, and the Fairfield Heritage.
Yeah.
Great bunch of stuff to see.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Nice.
Yeah, it really is amazing. So the Columbus Museum of Art, for example, you're going to be able to use that for admission up to 8 people is the program that they use.
Nice.
And that includes free parking because there is a parking charge. They're in downtown Columbus, so that's pretty typical there. You can use that for 1 week. Because that's the limitation that they've put on their pass. We work with each organization to work with them and make sure it works for them, because each one is a little different. But it's a huge value.
Yeah.
I mean, you can bring your whole family to that. And that might not be something that would be available to every family.
Now, will these be all summer?
They're going to be at each library location all the time.
Oh, okay.
So some of them might be checked out when you go. So in that case, you might need to wait until it's available.
You would take a list or...
Yeah, exactly. So each one is a little bit different, but they are at each location, so you can check our catalog, see if it's available, those kinds of things. There are some limitations. So, for example, Columbus Museum of Art, they have told us we can check out as many of those as we like, which is very generous.
That? Yeah, that is what a great asset.
Right. So for Dawes, for example, we have 1 at each branch location, 2 at each branch location, and I think 5 at main library. Wow. So once those are all checked out, we would take a whole list.
What a asset to have for our library here.
Yeah,
that's great.
It's a wonderful thing.
Now we're into the winter time of the year, of course. Everything's about reading for children, things like that. Get Yeti to Read.
Get Yeti to Read. Look at this guy. I love him so much. We were talking about
let
Yetis.
Shane see that. There.
Okay,
Let him see
here
it
we
there.
go. Here
Get
we go.
Yeti to Read. Very
Yes.
good.
So we have a children's winter reading program, and it is called Get Yeti to Read this
Very
year.
clever. Very clever.
Yes, I have some wonderful, clever staff people. Let me tell you what. And you can pick up a reading log at any of our libraries, and you track the reading that you do or your child does. And once you fill up this log, and it's very short, 10 hours of reading, 40 picture books for small children who aren't reading on their own yet. Once you finish that entire reading log, you earn a reading buddy,
Nice.
a little Yeti reading buddy,
Nice.
who can read with you all year long. Those are provided by our friends at the library. They support so many of our programs at the library.
They're
We're very
great.
lucky.
Like
Very
a
lucky
twig
to have
for
them.
the hospital, the Friends of the Library, they do great work for you folks.
Absolutely, absolutely. You can sign up for that reading program. It runs through March 19th, so there's plenty of time still to do that. Stop by any location, pick up a reading log, and just start reading. Get Yeti to Read. So
Get Yeti to Read. Through March 19th, so
March
a long
19th.
time yet. Still,
Oh, yes.
still can get involved
Yeah.
in this, get
Yeah.
going. Okay.
Yeah. Punxsutawney Phil said there'd be 6 more weeks of winter, so we've got time.
Didn't see his shadow today, did
No,
he?
no.
That's all right. One I saw, and I guess this is somebody new to me, Susan Canavino.
Yes.
She's going to be a real help to the library.
Yes, she's going to be presenting a program on Lincoln, Abraham Lincoln.
Our greatest president, I might add.
Yes, absolutely. Of interest to many people here in Lancaster and Fairfield County with our deep ties to the Civil War and history buffs in general. She's going to be doing a program for us via Zoom. So this is going to be an online program. You can register for that on the library's website.
Okay.
Of course, that's going to be free. And it's going to be, I think, a really interesting
Now,
program.
where will that be? Upstairs or the library or?
She's going to be presenting on Zoom.
Oh, it's right. It's
yeah.
Zoom. I forgot. Yeah,
No,
you're
sorry.
right.
No,
Zoom.
no problem.
Yeah.
So she's going to be presenting online. Everyone can join online with that.
Sure.
Yeah. So once you register, you'll be sent that Zoom link. That is, let me double check my date here.
February 10th.
Thank you.
February 10th at 6 o'clock, online Zoom.
Yep.
And you can register online.
Yeah, yep.
And then do that and then just jump in.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. We'll email you that Zoom
She must
information.
be some real knowledgeable curator of Lincoln information.
That is what I understand.
Yeah.
As I am not, I have to be told these things. But yes, that is my
Well,
understanding.
I mean, that's a great opportunity again for kids and adults. It doesn't have to certainly be for one or
Oh
the
yeah,
other.
if you've got someone who's interested in it,
Yeah.
I think that would be a perfect opportunity.
Yeah, with all the Sherman history and everything. I mean, that's
Yeah.
perfect. And here's what I'm excited to talk about because I actually know a little bit about it, not much about it, but I was reading about this thing about how digital magazines now are able to be checked out at the library. And I was like, what's that about? There's an app, and I don't know why it's called Libby. You can probably tell me that, but if you go to your search engine and find wherever you download applications, it's called Libby.
Yep.
And it allows you to, once you're in, you have to have a library card, so once you're in on that, you can digitally check out virtually, I guess, thousands and thousands of magazines and books.
It's
it's
crazy,
amazing.
isn't it? So Libby is our most popular digital app. So we're in a consortium that allows us to have access to this because there are hundreds of thousands of ebooks, e-audio materials, and now digital magazines in this same app. And it is a huge resource. If you are not using it, I would encourage you to check it out. If you have an Audible subscription that you're paying for, so people who do that, if you have that and you know what I mean, check this out because it's going to save you some money. Check out Libby. One of the new things they've just added is digital magazines.
Yeah.
So you went on last night, you
I
said,
did.
and downloaded a magazine. How did you find that experience?
If I can do it, it's relatively easy. I would say that. But I was just looking, and just some of the titles you mentioned, HGTV, Cooks Illustrated, National Geographic, Food Network, Newsweek, Money, Family Handyman, many more.
Oh, yeah.
They've got dozens of categories, and they've got a ton of books in each category.
Oh, yeah.
So I downloaded it. Took me 5 5 minutes to put my card number in, and I suppose now I'll always be in there anytime I use it. And you can have it for, in my case, I think it was 21 days or whatever it was. And then do you have to check it back in, or does it automatically come out?
It will automatically go back at the end of that time period.
What an asset again, the library. I mean, it's just opens up the world.
It's right there. I really enjoy it. So I'm not normally a magazine reader, just like in real life, if you will. But if I have a few minutes, I might like to just kind of flip through a magazine. And I really like the option to do it digitally because I can, I'm not going to purchase a magazine personally, but I would download it and just kind of flip through it on my phone if I had a few minutes at a doctor's office or at an airport or something like that. Really great content. I don't actually make the recipes that I look at in magazines, but I really do enjoy thinking about them.
Well, that's a big part of it right there. And it looks like there are old copies of, you can go back some period of time.
I believe there's a 3-year backlist.
Yeah, and you could go back and just look at old ones. Maybe you saw something last month, you could recall that on anything, whether it's an article in Newsweek or whatever it is.
Absolutely. So there's some really great content, really, as you say, like high-level magazines, things that people really want. So very easy to access. And once you get into that Libby platform, you're also going to have access to all the ebooks and all the e-audio material. So those are going to be the audio books. If you have Bluetooth in your car, or you can connect into your car speakers with a cord, you're going to be able to listen to audiobooks very easily.
That'd be
in
nice
your car.
On a trip.
Yeah.
Probably your kids and anybody going on that?
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's much easier than trying to change books on CD at 65 miles an hour. Much safer, I would say.
Much safer.
So it's a really great resource. So I would encourage anyone to check that out. It's really huge.
I think you can tell that Becky Schaade, who's director of the Fairfield County District Library, what a place that is down there. I mean, it's unbelievable how many opportunities there are for adults or children to go to the library. When I was there, you just had the Dewey Decimal System and you checked out books. That's what you did. And now the sky's the limit.
We do still do that,
yes,
but
not the Dewey Decimal System.
No, we do.
Well, you don't have a card file anymore.
We don't have the
That's
card
what I
file.
remember.
We
You
don't.
looked through your own book and then you found the number and then the librarian told you where it was. But gosh, you guys do great work down there.
Thank you.
Love your Yeti. That's very clever. Hold them up again. Let Shane get another shot of them there. It's going to be a fun time till March to get done with that. Get your own Yeti. Becky Schaade, thank you for being with us. It's so much fun to talk library. We just are fortunate to have such a great group. Friends of the library down there. You guys do great work.
Well, thank you so much.
Becky Schaade, director of the Fairfield County District Library. And thank you for joining us on Fairfield Today.
Interface Video, in cooperation with Fairfield Federal, presents Fairfield Today. Brought to you by Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan, Fairfield Medical Center, Fair Hope Hospice and Palliative Care, the Frankie Smith Funeral Home, Fairfield County Adam H., Dagger Law, and the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities.